We're here. Where have you been, Emil? Where have you been? I haven't seen you. I like it when you're live, because then it's like you're live. No, I'm live. It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. Emil Amok to you. Here are my takes on all things considerable. We're here. I must confess to feeling, as they say, under the weather since I've come back from New York. And it really is, I don't know. I was fatigued, but also, get a little jet lagged, but also I was under pressure. I'm performing a new one-man show. That's right. I'm performing a new one-man show this week on Friday. And so let's just talk about it. I mean, I'm doing this show called Emil Amok 69. Emil Amok, Emil, really? Yeah, Emil Amok 69. It opens on the 28th, and it's a soft opening. I call it a soft opening because it is. February 28th, the last day of this great short month, and we're opening at 7 p.m. in Fresno. It's in Fresno. Yeah, here, let's go. And the Lotus Room, 626 East Olive Street, and there's an Amok discount, $12. That's pretty damn cheap, $12 for an hour's worth of Emil Amok, where everything's flipped, as it says there. It's at the Rogue Festival in Fresno, the Lotus Room, 626 East Olive in Fresno. And there, if you're watching on the screen, you can get the QR code and open that up and find out where to get tickets to this thing. Of course, it's in Fresno. Now, you can still, no matter where you are, you could be in New York, in Zanzibar, in Barclay Square, you can say, hey, I want to support you, Emil. I'm going to buy a ticket, and I'm going to be there in spirit. Oh, that's the way to do it. That's the way I like it. I like to do entire sold-out shows to spirits. It makes me feel so great as a performer to know that I can perform to an empty house and the feeling is there. The feeling is still there, even though there's no one there. People have bought a ticket and they didn't even show up. So, and if you're listening to this wherever you are, the Philippines, Hawaii, the East Coast, you could still buy a ticket. There's the QR code. Get the ticket, support Emil. It's just $12. I mean, you got to wait this way. Do I see Emil perform his new one-man show, Emil Amok 69, February 28th at 7 p.m. in Fresno? Do I fly out to Fresno? Or do I just say, here's $12, Emil. You're the best. You're the best. I think that's a better alternative. It's also performing Saturday, the 1st, the next day, the 1st of March at 3:30 p.m. Oh, a matinee for people who prefer matinees because, I could do something else for date night. I could just do my Emil obligation at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and let's see where it goes from there, huh? So that's Saturday, March 1st. And then Sunday, we come back. And, of course, it's spring forward, so it's going to feel like 11:30 in the morning, but it's 12:30 p.m. A nooner with me, March 2nd, Sunday, 12:30. So that's the first weekend of the Rogue Festival. Then I'm back on the 6th of March at 8:30 p.m. If you want to say, Emil, we like to do this formally on Thursday night, because it's Fresno, and yes, we'll go out to dinner and go out for a date with Emil Amok 69 on Thursday, the 6th of March at 8:30 p.m. Yes, if that's you, yes, do that. And then Friday, I'm off. And then Saturday, I'm back at it again, 6:30 p.m. The 8th, a week from this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Yes, we'll have a meal with Emil, and he won't spoil our dinner, and we'll still have a good time on a Saturday night in Fresno. Yeah, I think. The Lotus Room, 626 East Olive in Fresno. The Amok discount, $12. $12. Yeah, I could charge as much as 15, maybe in some places as much as 20. But the inflation fighter Amok discount, $12. And if you're watching the screen, there on the screen is the QR code. And just click on the QR code. Let's say maybe you need for me to make it bigger. There's a make it bigger. So it's like practically the entire screen. Just click on the QR code. Let me see if it works on my phone. I'll click on the screen with my phone and see if it works. And if it works, then we're good. And it works. It works. Just it'll open up. It's hard to believe that I have to explain QR codes today, even though I've been using them now for like 3-4 years. But a lot of people still don't know what's a queer code, Emil. Well, what's a queer code? Yeah. You get the queer code, and you punch it up, and then on your screen, you put it on photo, right, with your camera, and then there'll be a little bar, or a yellow bar that'll pop up and says "Open in Chrome," and then you click on that, and it'll take you to Ticket Leap, and then you can pick the date, and you pick the times, and you get your tickets. And then there's a little blurb about Emil Amok. If you want to read more about me, it's on Ticket Leap. But check it out. Tell your friends. That's where, that's how you go to Ticket Leap and the Fresno Rogue if you want to do it the hard way. But it should be fun. Now, what is this? Emil Amok 69. Emil, really, honest to God. 69? Are you bringing back the ghost of Jimi Hendrix or something? If 6 or 9. Actually, it's not the subjunctive if 6 or 9. It's just past tense. If 6 was 9. I don't mind. If 6 turned out to be 9, I don't care. Because I got my life to live for, and I ain't going to follow you. The immortal words of Jimi Hendrix. Is that it, Emil? Is that why it's Emil Amok 69? No, it's not. But what a beautiful thought. What a beautiful, beautiful thought. No, it's Emil Amok 69 because we are in a 69 world. It's a fairly ambiguous title because it is a fairly ambiguous world. And is Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, are they engaged? Oh, I talk about that. You want to hear? I mean, we are in a strange period of life. And if you want to see, well, what is exactly Emil? I explain it. Emil Amok 69, written and performed by me, Emil Guillermo. Look at what people have said. Manhattan Digest said, comical, often profound observations. This is what they said about my work in general, about a specific work I did in New York a year ago. Oh, Emil, they didn't say that about this work. No, this is what they've said about me. Comical, often profound observations. That's a nice, nifty quote. Not many stand-up performers, not many one-man solo show type performers have reviews. I got a few reviews. That's one of them, Manhattan Digest. Look it up. And then there's my favorite review from the Orlando Weekly, stand-up, monologue, rant. Keeping you on your toes. Enjoy keeping pace with Guillermo's brilliant mind. Oh, I'm so humbled. Really, I mean, the reviewer, Orlando Weekly, 2017. And, I've only gotten better. That's 8 years ago. It's a better show now. Or it's not the same show. It's a different show. It's Emil Amok 69. It's like if you're Vietnamese, it's like pho. They give numbers to their pho, like pho 75 and pho 69. And this is Emil Amok 69. It's your favorite pho. Like, what the pho, Emil? Stand-up monologue rant. Enjoy keeping pace with Guillermo's brilliant, funny mind. Poignant, funny. Orlando Weekly. They said it. They said it. I'm humbled by it. They said it. There's a QR code. Get your tickets, okay? Friday, you can see, and it's going to be different every time. Oh, how can it be different every time, Emil? Well, it's because we're in a moment. And when you're in a moment, you're in a moment, and it's a different moment, and it's a real moment, and that's how special it is. You know, it took 1.7 billion years for all the things in the world, the molecules, the particles to come together and say, yeah, this is the moment we're sharing right now live even. This moment. It'll never happen again. And it won't. So come see every performance. This Friday, the 28th. I talked about it briefly on tape Monday, and we did a show with Dan, Professor Dan, on Friday, that some of you have watched and said, oh, well, he's just going to repeat a show. No. This is real. I'm live now. So on the 28th, Friday, 7 p.m., I'll be in Fresno. And as I said, you don't have to be in Fresno. You can say, hey, Emil, I'll buy the ticket. Okay, I'll buy the ticket. Good luck in Fresno. I'm paying $12 is an appropriate price for bail. So I don't have to go see you. I can imagine you, and yes, you can look at the empty seats and say, yes, I got a ticket for that empty seat. That is performance skill. So Friday the 28th, 7 p.m., Saturday, the 1st of March. Not quite the Ides of March, maybe the I, and then the DES comes later by the 15th. But the 1st at 3:30 p.m., an afternoon show. Maybe you say, yeah, I can do Fresno in an afternoon. I don't have to give it the full evening. I think Emil would like that. Yeah, 3:30 p.m. And then Sunday, again, remember, it's spring forward, fall back, we're springing forward. It'll be 11:30 p.m., 11:30 in the morning for you. In actuality, 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. Instead of church. Oh, no, don't. Not that. You can go to church in the afternoon. The Catholics go to church in the afternoon. But come see me at 12:30. It'll be raucous. A raucous good time. And then we'll all go home and watch the Oscars. How about that? And wonder, why exactly did people turn against Amelia Perez? Why did they do that? And then Thursday, and then I'm back Thursday the 6th, 8:30 p.m. Yeah, in case, let's make a night. Let's make a night of Fresno. 8:30 in Fresno, and this is the best thing? Possibly. Thursday night the 6th, and then one more time, the final go-round, the 8th at 6:30 p.m. And this is the show that I'm doing now. First show of the year. I've been doing parts of it at the Marsh, and now I'm doing the whole 60-minute thing now in Fresno at the Rogue Performance Festival. Yeah, the Rogue Performance Festival. So come check it out. And I'm going to be going to Edmonton in Canada. I'm doing Canada this year. I'm doing Edmonton. I'm going to Winnipeg, because people say, oh, you got to go to Winnipeg. You got to go to for the hockey, Emil, for the hockey. Yeah, so I'm going in the summertime. All right, so that's the wrong time to appreciate hockey in the summertime. And I'm a Maple Leafs fan, kind of. I mean, if they keep Nick Robertson, I'm a Maple Leafs fan, but he's a Filipino. But I'm doing Canada. We're doing Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Vancouver. That's the summer schedule for me. And I'm foregoing the cool Midwest fringes. Like, yeah, Minnesota's cool, and Kansas City's cool, and Indianapolis is cool. But, Elgin is cool. Elgin, Illinois. But I'm only booked for the Canadian fringes this year. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in October and November and December. And if I do my Christmas show, I got a Christmas show. I'm planning on that. Planning on a Christmas show. But this one, 626 Olive Street in Fresno, the Lotus Room, discount tickets $12. Everything slipped. It's Emil Amok 69. Check it out. Opens Friday, the 28th, this Friday at 7 p.m. And I'm just happy that I couldn't be this excited about it, but I got over a hump, and so I'm excited about it. I got over a hump in the show, of course, on a Wednesday, hump day, and I'm excited. So check out the show, and once again, I'll put the QR code up so you can always click on it. It's on the 28th. Let's see if I can I put it on so that it's well, I gotta make the QR code a little bigger. So there, I'll make the QR code big there, and then maybe that does it. So I talk while there's the QR code. I'll make it even bigger. Even bigger? I think that's about as big as I can get it. Okay, all right. So the QR code is up there on the side. And let us begin the formal part of our show. So hi, everyone. And here's some good news. Rob Bonta is telling the LA Times that he feels hopeful, he feels optimistic and resolute about his suits that he's waging against MAGA, against what's going on in our government. He's the state's top lawyer, the state's top cop, and he's telling the LA Times, I'm just looking at an email that just went out, that they're optimistic that the courts will stop what's going on in our country in terms of the power grab by Donald Trump. Now, some people say, the power grab by Donald. Yeah, the power grab by Donald Trump. He grabs, he takes, he assumes he can get, and then it's up to people to fight it out in court, and it's up to the judges to say, no, you can't do that, Donald Trump, or as I like to call him, CFDT 34, convicted felon Donald Trump 34. So that just popped up in my feed, and I thought, I'm going to read that. Oh, sorry. That was from a while ago. Oh, that was from a week ago. Sorry about that. Oh, I meant to say this instead. I meant to say this story. The budget, right? Everyone's talking about the budget and what the Republicans are doing. It doesn't make sense. They're making all these cuts in government, and then they're doing it not to help the American people, but to help the American billionaires, which doesn't make sense. The American billionaires do not need the help. It's not going to trickle down to the regular folks. We know that. How many decades do we need to know that trickle down theory is laughable? It was started by Arthur Laffer. But how many times do we have to go through this idea that, trickle down doesn't work, but they're doing it again, and they're trying to cut trillions in the government, mostly to give tax breaks to the billionaires, not to regular people. That's what's wrong with the budget. Even Republicans are skeptical. They almost lost it by a vote. But we've got a long way to go before we get to the final go at this budget, the budget process. And, really, if you are really just paying attention for the first time, this is what government is about. It's like, how do we spend our money? How do we budget? And a lot of people want to think, oh, well, the government, is gonna fall down because of debt, Okay, then let's be honest about it. Let's not raise the debt ceiling, adding to the debt, which is what the Republicans are doing. And let's not cut extreme services so that we can get tax cuts to the wealthy. How about dumping the tax cuts, keeping government as is, because we can raise the revenue. We can keep government as is, but we can make cuts on things that are wasteful, and we can put a moratorium on spending. There are smarter ways to go about doing what we're doing, but instead, it's totally political, and it just doesn't make sense to cut the government, then give those savings to the wealthy, and then to raise the debt limit. So, well, wait a minute. I thought you were making cuts so we didn't have to. No. Oh, the Republicans are raising the debt limit? That's how they're balancing the budget? So it's just kind of a lie? Yeah. I mean, that's the reality of how the Republicans want to do it. And that's why it's bad. That's why it's wrong. Elon Musk was at that special meeting of the cabinet today. And it was really kind of funny because the cabinet, he's not even a cabinet member. He's a backbencher. But for some reason, they allowed him to talk because he's the richest man in the world. And people are cowed by that. So here's one thing that I caught. He kept saying country, and then he slipped and said company. The significance of that, he said, well, this is for the good of the country. That's how he used the phrase. And then at one point, like 20 seconds after, he said, so, this is for the good of the company. And that's the problem with this budget. That's a problem with the mindset of this cabinet, the mindset of Elon Musk. I've said it. I'll say it again. This is the United States government. We are a nation. We are a country. We are not a company. Companies, especially those that are public, that sell stock, it's all about shareholder value. Shareholder value is all about profits. That's what a publicly held company, that's the responsibility of those who run a company. It is not the way to run a government. It is not a way to run a country. Because it's not about profits, it's the people. And if you cut for profits at the expense of the people, then you don't have a country anymore. You don't have a country anymore. And it just surprises me that people want to buy into that argument. Oh, well, we need to run this like a company. No, we don't. We need to run it like a country. And remember that there are poor people and there are rich people, and we don't just service one set of people. We don't just service the ultra rich, which is what they're trying to do. Just service the ultra rich by giving them the tax breaks. Can't do that. So that's what I got out of that long meeting. They cut away because there were a lot of lies. Donald Trump was saying, well, there's some 200-year-olds who are getting checks. No, like maybe originally it was 150. So in a week they've gone up 50 years. So I just think it was another show of the Donald Trump reality show presidency, which is the unreality of it all. And it was kind of sad because there's Elon Musk, the unelected, still doing his thing, still sending out those "What have you done for me lately?" Actually, he said, "Look, I'm setting a low bar. This is like a pulse check. This isn't a, performance check. It's a pulse check because a lot of people aren't showing up to work now." The fact is, if you look at what the AGs or the IGs, the inspector generals, are doing, who really know where the waste is, And they wouldn't make the same mistakes that Doge is doing, like cutting out people who are important, cutting out people who are watching nuclear weapons or minding bird flu or doing stuff that's important. You look at the IGs, the inspector generals who were fired summarily. That's what we need to pay attention to. We don't need Doge. That's a stunt. And it's a stunt that's backfiring, because if good people are being fired, federal workers are being fired, and the government is being cut to the bone, it's hard to forget cutting USAID, which is the aid and development operation that Elon Musk has called. He's called evil. He's called it a criminal operation. It's not. It's the way the U.S. buys the hearts and minds of different countries to let them know that the U.S. is there to support them and feed them. And it's important, but the $40 billion that we spend on USAID is just a small amount if you want to cut waste. If you want to cut waste, you could start with defense and make some real cuts there. But USAID isn't it. And then cutting federal workers and other agencies, that's not it either. Because if you go at it with a chainsaw like Elon Musk, you are bound to make mistakes, and there have been mistakes made. So, look, Elon Musk, if you look at that press conference, and it was carried by most people, most networks, an embarrassment. Don't be cowed by it. Remember, we're a country, not a company. All right, I want to read a couple things, and I'll try to keep this short today. CAPAC, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, CAPAC, C-A-P-A-C, they issued a statement following the House passage of the Republicans' budget proposal. Here's what they say. And I read this because, most people won't have access to CAPAC's, what CAPAC is saying. And it's important. It's all the Asian Pacific American members and supporters of the Asian Pacific American community. These are members of Congress. Here's the quote, the official statement. Budgets are reflections of our priorities, and House Republicans made clear last night that their priority is to their billionaire donors, not to hardworking Americans. And that is the truth. As I said, it doesn't make sense to cut trillions of dollars from the government and then give those savings on to the billionaires. For what? What reason? Why? And then what happens to the working poor or working class people? Nothing. They get nothing. The Republican budget proposal guts Medicaid, which provides health care for 4.5 million Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. 4.5 million. And remember, just the other day, Donald Trump said, he's not cutting Medicare or Medicaid. He is. I mean, you really need to see Medicaid as part of Medicare. It's separate because Medicare is for all older people. Older people, it's their insurance. But Medicaid is for all poor people with no insurance. They get Medicaid. In California, it's called Medi-Cal. And it's really all part of the same thing. When you raid one, you're going to hurt the other. But the Republicans didn't make a distinction. And they're gutting Medicaid. The budget also shifts funding for public schools, cuts food assistance for kids and seniors, and undermines benefits for veterans in order to pay for tax breaks for billionaires. This tax giveaway is a betrayal of the American people, according to CAPAC, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. While congressional Republicans have failed to put forth a plan that will lower costs, CAPAC will continue to fight for policies that will grow the middle class and protect programs that our communities depend on. And that really is the important thing. realizing that all the cuts that they're really struggling to find, because they're looking for the lowest hanging fruit. And then they're going deep blindly just to cut money. It's wrong, but they're doing it that way. It's not surgical. It's not scientific. It's not database. It's all based on, well, it is based on some data that, oh, here's a lot of money. Cut it off. It's wrong. And then with that savings to pay for tax breaks for the billionaires, not for the middle class, the billionaire class. So that's what KPAC says, and they're right. The Congress is wrong. Let's see what happens going forward. Now, I read this because some of you know that I used to be on the media. I was an anchor in Washington, D.C., local television there. Worked in San Francisco locally, Dallas locally. I also was the host of All Things Considered for a brief period. I was the first Asian American host of All Things Considered. I was the first Asian American male to host a national news show. The first Asian American would be Connie Chung, which would make me the male Connie Chung. So anyway, I talk about this because KPAC issued a statement about the cancellation of shows with AANHPI hosts, and I'm talking about MSNBC. And if you watch MSNBC, you may have noticed Katie Fung, Alex Wagner, other people of color are getting cut. And I don't know if it's about DEI. I don't know if it necessarily is about ratings, although managers will always say it's about ratings. The statement by KPAC is MSNBC's cancellation of shows hosted by Katie Fung, Alex Wagner, and other people of color is devastating. These anchors were among the few Asian Americans to host a show on cable television. They told our stories, elevating the voices of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and those who often go unheard in our society. Their absence is a profound loss for the network. And frankly, I agree. Although I will say this about Alex Wagner and Katie Fong too. I mean, I did not think Alex Wagner is about as assimilated as it comes. And that's not a criticism. She's a good, solid journalist. She's going to be put out in the field. She's not going to do her show. I like Alex. You know, I thought when they took out an Asian male and put in people like Katie and Alex Wagner, I thought, well, this is like what happens to the guys. It's all about the females. It's the Connie Chung complex. But, you know, Connie's a good reporter. She's always been a good. Alex is a good reporter. Katie was a lawyer before she did journalism, so she's smart. They're capable, but they're Asian males, especially, and there were at the MSNBC. So anyway, Alex Wagner, I just always thought always downplayed her Asianness. Although you say, oh, she looks exotic. She's an attractive woman. I think her father was white. Her mother was Burmese. And, you know, it doesn't come up. You don't say, oh, she's an Asian. Alex Wagner is typical of the young Asian Americans who play race very non-civil rights. She's post 65, which is, as I said, not a criticism. It's just she's assimilated, and she's gone beyond that. In her mind, she's gone beyond that, which is the prerogative of Asian Americans in these high profile positions. I can go without it, without my Asianness, and I can just be who I am. Yeah. But when you get canned, you won't see the community behind you, and you won't see people saying, hey, damn, they got rid of one of us. That's why I was surprised to see the CNBC statement. But you're not seeing like a million people marching saying, keep Alex. She's a good reporter. But I think the mindset of a lot of people under 50 is, I can make it on my own. I mean, people under 40. I can make it on my own, and I don't need race. And, or variations of that. I think Alex was a little more extreme than Katie. Katie, I met only once. I met her this summer. And she's a smart kid. I mean, kid. She was a lawyer, right? She's smart, accomplished. But again, she's way post 65, civil rights. And while they recognize discrimination, racism does exist, they're out there doing their thing. Hey, I'm every bit as good. I'm every bit as equal. And you give up something, though. You give up that sense of the community's behind you. And the way they used Katie was all wrong. They stuck her on the weekends. I know what that's like. And it wasn't even like, the weekend, not the most important show, not the most important day part. She was developing. If they gave her a chance, she'd be an interesting, good host. But she's not the person to save, apparently, MSNBC's ratings. So bye-bye, Katie. When I met her, I thought she was very pleasant. She always said, hey, look, I do all I can to talk about Asian Americans. But I think also she does all she can to just prove that she is capable of doing the job. And so, prerogative of the MSNBC folks to say, sorry. And you can fight them, but in the end, it's their prerogative. They'll pay you off. They'll get nice severances according to their contracts, or based on whatever their contract says. And they're there as, at will workers on contract. So I'm sorry for Katie. Surprised also that KPAC put out the statement, because you don't see a lot of people out there saying, save Katie, save Alex. The black community's out there for Joy Reid, and I think Joy Reid is accomplished, and she had a higher profile. But so you start talking about you going through the weekend folks, and you go through the weekday folks, and you say, well, why is MSNBC doing this? And maybe they're doing it because they just want to stifle the anti-DEI stuff and just say, yeah, we're just putting out our good journalists. And look, we just got rid of these guys. And they kept Ali Velshi. They axed Amons. And he was a good reporter. But the guys on the weekend, that's just, they're pawns. And Alex Wagner was a big deal because she was there to solidify that nighttime show. Alex Wagner, you take a look at Alex Wagner, you say, yeah, she's done some good work. She's done some stuff on Showtime. She kind of catapulted her way into that role. She was there once. They sort of dropped the show, and then she came back when, there was a time that she's been there, I guess, the last 2-3 years as the lead into Lawrence O'Donnell. And he still has good ratings. But this is when it all gets done at once. It's a wholesale thing that it makes you wonder, but it's the prerogative of MSNBC. People can fight it, but here's why you're not seeing a fight from the community, because the community didn't know they were there. And the connection to the community wasn't as much there as some people would like to think. I think you get to a position like that and you're on your own. You know, it's Darwinian. And like I said, Alex Wagner, I never looked at Alex Wagner and said, oh, she represents Asian America. No, I looked at Alex Wagner and said, oh, they, you know, attractive woman. This is the Connie thing. They're trying to, you know, have an Asian woman there. She's competent. She's good. Great. But she didn't draw an audience. And in the end, that's the only thing that matters. Are you drawing the numbers? Are you the big star? And it's sad, but I mean, MSNBC's numbers are pretty bad. But the thing is, Alex, in that key slot in the evening, she was asked to pull in numbers. The other folks during the day parts, the daytime parts, like Nicole Wallace and all the people on during the day, they don't have to pull the numbers. And no one's watching television back in those day parts. But at night, that's where you're supposed to pull in the numbers. And so Alex then bring it. And unfortunately, that's the only thing that matters. So, like I said, I like Alex. I think she's a good reporter. She's going to continue to report from the field. But I know what it feels like. And I was more, I think, community oriented, more about telling stories about Asians and Asianness than either Alex or Katie. And that's just me. And I think it's because I had a more of a civil rights kind of orientation. I didn't have an orientation of, hey, I'm assimilating and I'm just trying to be the best me. I mean, you don't write for the ethnic media and not have a civil rights orientation. Still, their presence was there and felt. And so, once again, CAPAC, the Caucus of Asian Pacific, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, said MSNBC's cancellation of shows hosted by Katie Fung, Alex Wagner, and other people of color is devastating. These anchors were among the few Asian Americans to host a show on cable television. True. They told our stories, sometimes elevating the voices of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and those who often go unheard in our society. Their absence is a profound loss for the network. Well, I'll say this. How many times do they have on Asian people talking about stuff? I don't know. I would say a small number of times. Not as great as you would think for Alex Wagner, and probably for Katie Fung, not as much either. But enough, because she was on the weekends. Look, I don't like anyone losing their job, and I wish there was an outcry. I wish there were people out there saying, yeah, save Katie's job, save Alex's job, but it's a ratings business. And also the way the media is right now. The way the media is right now is not good in terms of where Trump is and what Trump is doing to other media outlets, what other media outlets are doing to kowtow. I mean, you saw CBS, ABC, and then today you saw Trump really misrepresent what is really happening in that 60 Minutes suit. I mean, CNN was fact-checking that, Donald Trump made it sound like they were putting words in Kamala Harris's mouth on a question, and it's not as bad as Donald Trump says, but if Donald Trump spreads that lie, it goes out there and people say, oh, Donald Trump is upset with 60 Minutes. Well, once again, you're going to have to see the transcript, and 60 Minutes is fighting it, but it looks like they're going to settle because everyone is kowtowing to Trump. And so maybe MSNBC is doing that too, although they're being spun off by Comcast, and they'll be their own thing. And I don't know if they're going to have the same big bucks as they did when they're under NBC and Comcast. The person I'm more concerned with is Lester Holt at NBC. He steps down. I love Lester Holt. I started my career around the same time, a little later, a couple years later, when Lester was on the streets doing radio in San Francisco and Oakland, and then made his way up to the network. He has been the yeoman, and he has excelled. I mean, an exemplary career. And never once do you say, oh, that guy's a DEI hire. You know, never once. Never once do you say, oh, that guy doesn't know his stuff. And never once do you say, oh, he was a sellout or that he dissed the black community. He was always just who he was. I mean, Lester Holt was always an African American who spoke out. I mean, he was objective, but you knew he was there for the black community. I mean, he'd do the stories. You'd see it. No, I really love Lester Holt. I think that is going to be a loss. And everyone in television news who's started in the streets, everyone in TV, radio news who started in the streets and who had his sights for anchordom, Lester Holt will go down in history as the anchor. And here's the thing. Anchors are not as important as they used to be. They used to be very important. Now they're not that important. And even doing shows, I mean, MSNBC and CNN, they're not as important. They used to be. The days of Cronkite are over. I got a picture of me and Cronkite, and that was a dream we were chasing at one point. But that's no longer the dream. The dream is to get your voice out there, to get your ideas out there, because it is a world of opinion. And that's how journalism has changed. And a lot of it because of money. Because it's cheaper to report opinion than report. Anyway, just reacting on KPAC's statement on the cancellation of shows with the AANHPI hosts, and then also talking about their statement about the budget, slashing Medicaid to pay for tax breaks for billionaires. That's about as basic as it gets. But it's true. That's what's wrong with the Republican budget. That's what's wrong. So that's it. I was going to try to keep this under an hour. And look how badly I've done here. Well, it's still under an hour. But, all right, so I'm going to go back to work on my show because, as you can see, where is it? Oh, here, I got to put it up here again. I'm doing this show. There's the QR code. Put up your phone there and take a picture of that. It's Emil Amok, 69. Yeah. Written and performed by me. February 28th. That's this Friday. Couple of days. I will be ready. I will be ready for you at 7 p.m. And then the next day, I'm coming back at 3:30 p.m. on the 1st, on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm coming back at 12:30 p.m. We're going forward clockwise. I'll be there at 12:30 p.m. We'll do our show. It should be fun. And then back Thursday the 6th at 8:30 if you want to. I want to make it a formal date in Fresno, Emil. We'll go out to dinner, then come see your show. We'll go out and have a burrito and then come see your show. Yeah. Or Saturday, the 8th. Oh, we'll catch Emil first at 6:30. And then at 7:30, we'll go out to dinner and paint the town in Fresno at 7:30. After his 1 hour show is over. Yes, you could do it that way. It's at 626 Olive Street in Fresno, the Lotus Room. That's right. As it implies, the name implies the Lotus Room. We will be in the Lotus position, not in the 69 position, the Lotus position. And it should be fun. The Amok discount, $12. $12. Scan that code. Get your tickets on ticketleap.com for $12. That live entertainment, a live Filipino, uncaged, an uncaged live Filipino. Oh my God, that is something. And as the Orlando Weekly said, stand up, monologue, rant, enjoy keeping pace with Guillermo's brilliant mind. They said that 2017, that's 8 years ago. The brilliance is still there. Orlando Weekly, they said that. The work is better. Manhattan Digest a year ago said about my work, comical, often profound observations. Oh my God, I'm humbled. Emil Amok 69. Can you do it in a lotus position? I don't know. I guess we're in a world where everything's flipped. That's what the show's about. It's at the Rogue Performance Festival, 626 East Olive Street, the Lotus Room in Fresno. And as I said, the first show opens on the 28th. And I know you might be a friend who's watching this. You say, Emil, I live in New York. I'm not going to fly to Fresno. Are you kidding me? Yeah, but I'll pay you $12. This is the price of our friendship. I'll pay $12. That empty seat that you see, Emil, that's going to be me. Thank you. All my friends on the East Coast. All my friends in Hawaii or the Philippines. Emil, we're not flying to Fresno to see you on Sunday, the 2nd at 12:30 p.m. Are you kidding me? We're not going there Friday, the 28th for opening night at 7 p.m. We're not going to do that. Not for you, Emil. But we're going to buy a ticket so that the empty seat is, you could say, oh, that's the duende of the Lotus Room. The Filipinos are there from the Philippines. Just use that QR code and buy a ticket any day. Just buy a ticket. Be there in spirit. And if you buy a ticket and you show me the receipt, I will send you a link. I will tape the show and I'll put the show on Patreon and you can have access to the show. How about that? A simple solution. They're not doing it live, but I can probably do it live. I will do it live. I mean, I will tape it. So, come see me if you're near. If you're not, buy a spiritual ticket because the spirit is willing, right? The spirit is willing. The spirit is willing. Check it out there on the QR code. You can also go to amok.com for more information. amok.com. Oh, it'd be great to see you. We're live. You know, this is the first day today that I'm not feeling like too tired from my trip to New York. I was really kind of sick in a way, but I don't feel as sick. I don't feel as sick today. I feel actually well. So, all right there. So, you say, well, Emil's going to show that QR code. So I'm just going to flash it big so that you can take a picture of it or something, right? And I'll put me on the small screen. So you can still do the QR code. All right. We have come to an end. The show has come to an end. Not a hard end like Amelia Perez, but an end. And then, I don't know what happened. I mean, I was listening to the soundtrack. It's not that bad. I love the movie was great. Some people are like, a little too super fit. And then when the trans people don't like it, and the Mexican people don't like it, and the film people don't like it, and then, it doesn't matter how many Academy Award nominations you get, you're going to get sunk, especially when the person they call KSG, Gascon, the actress, the trans actress, she had these nasty tweets that kind of canceled her. It's sad because, I don't think she should lose because of her tweet. Just what was her performance like? It was good? No? Was it bad? So I just think it's unfair. And as I say that, I know that I've canceled a lot of people because of what they've done, what they've said. I have. Woody Allen. Hard to see another Woody Allen film, knowing what he's done. Bill Cosby. So KSG, I don't know if I'm dumping her, but a lot of people, I noticed people dumping her as soon as those tweets went public. I just saw the work, and hope the film wins something because it was entertaining. You might have different opinions about whether or not it was trans enough or politically correct enough, but I enjoyed the movie. So there. All right, that's it. We end with some meditation. Loving kindness, of course, because we want to be kind and loving. We do. We do. Sharon Salzberg, yeah. One of my gurus. I have multiple gurus. She less so, but, she's the one who really took the loving kindness thing and made it real in America. Just by saying the simple phrases. As I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Emil Amok to you. Check out ticketleap.com for the Rogue Festival. Show's opening Friday the 28th. We have 2 weekends of run. Not full weekends. Check it out. The schedule's kind of weird. But I hope to see you. Because I want people to be there. I don't want a phantom. You can be a phantom audience. And you give your $12, I'll make sure that I'll give you the access to the video. How about that? Buy a $12 ticket. Send me, if you buy a $12 ticket, I'll give you access to the Patreon site that'll allow you to view the show. So it's Friday the 28th, 7 p.m., Saturday the 1st, 3:30, Sunday the 2nd at 12:30, Thursday the 6th at 8:30, Saturday the 8th at 6:30 p.m. The Lotus Room, 626 East Olive in Fresno, $12. Scan that code for tickets. Yeah, scan it. Yeah. And like I said, if you can't make it, send me an email that you bought the ticket, and I will give you access to the video I'll take of it. And you can watch it from wherever you are in the comfort of your home. I'll even have good audio. Or we'll try. All right. Emil Guillermo here. Till next time. Mahal